Welcome to the Buckeye City Council meeting. We're excited to have you be a part of this important public process. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to address City Council on both agenda and non-agenda items. To get the process started, you must fill out a speaker request form in order to address the City Council. Speaker request forms are located in the back of the council chambers. Please fill it out and deliver your completed form to the city clerk located to the right of the dais. In accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact a staff member if you need any assistance. Public comment on a non-agenda item will take place during the citizen comment portion of the evening. These are items that don't appear on tonight's formal agenda. The mayor will call your name when it's time for you to speak. At that time, please approach the podium and tell us your name for the record. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes. The timer is visible on the dais in front of the mayor. You may choose not to speak if other speakers have already covered your topic. Shouting, cheering, and loud noises will not be tolerated. Violators may be removed for disrupting the meeting. Buckeye City Council meetings are streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the city's social media pages so you don't miss out on all that's happening in Buckeye. Thank you for coming to this meeting and being an active part of your city.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the City of Buckeye regular council meeting for October 1st, 2024. We will start with the invocation led by Mary Park, who is our new chaplain for the Buckeye Fire Department. Thank you, Mary, for being here. And we'll follow that with the pledge led by Councilmember Hess.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your promises, your faithfulness, and most of all, thank you for your amazing grace. I lift up the City of Buckeye, the council, and the administration, and I ask for your guidance to give them wisdom to make good decisions for our community. I also lift up first responders, the police, firefighters, doctors, nurses, schools, and all those in authority. I ask for protection to safeguard them. I lift up our military here and abroad, and put a hedge of protection around them and their families. I lift the state of Israel and their citizens and ask for a blessing over their country to keep them safe. And may we be reminded that in this world there is good and evil in it, and may our hearts be softened to show love for one another. May God quiet our spirits to not be fearful, anxious, or worried. For such a time as this, be still and know He is God. Amen.
Would you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both, Mary. Thank you for praying for us today and also for being a part of being a chaplain for our fire department. Appreciate you. Mary's also a neighbor. Okay, we'll have the roll call, please.
Councilmember Yonker.
Here.
Councilmember Hegestad.
Here.
Councilmember Hess.
Present.
Councilmember Guy.
Here. Councilmember
Hustis.
Here.
Vice Mayor Goodman.
Present.
Mayor Osborne.
Present. Thank you very much. Item number 2 is comments from the public. Members of the audience may comment on any non-agenda item of interest. Do we have any speaker request cards?
There are no speaker requests.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 3, awards, presentations, and proclamations. We have none for tonight. Item number 4 is consent agenda items and new business. Approval of items on the consent agenda. All items with an asterisk are considered to be routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and vote of the City Council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests. The section may include the approval of minutes from previous meetings. Council, for the consent agenda, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent agenda items 4A as in Adam through 4K as in King.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second for consent agenda items 4 Alpha through 4 Kilo. Let's see, we've got our handy new voting system here, and we have the motion made by Councilman Hustis, second by Vice Mayor Goodman. Let's go ahead and cast our votes. I think we're all cast, and it passes unanimous. Almost seamless. If you can get the mayor to keep up with you, we'll be doing great. Okay, item number 5, public hearings, non-consent, and new business. 5A is council to hold a public hearing and take action on ordinance number 22-24, amending the zoning map of the city of Buckeye on approximately 143.9 acres located at the northeast corner of State Route 85 and Southern, from planned residential to planned area development. And we will have senior planner, you're not Sean Bonda?
I can be. You want to know where Jackie Mack's birthing home was?
Yeah. Ken Galika, all right. Go ahead,
Mayor,
sir.
good evening. Ken Galika. Sean is on vacation this week. We do let him take some time off occasionally, and he's in California at the beach. So I am presenting on behalf of him this particular rezoning. It's for a project called AZ 85 Industrial Park. The site is around 144 acres, 143.9 to be precise. It's located at the northeast corner of State Route 85, Oglesby Road, and Southern Avenue. You can see, based on the aerial photograph, property is agriculturally used for farming purposes, as are the properties to the north and to the south, as well as to the east. So currently, no development adjacent to this particular property. The zoning of the site is currently planned residential, which allows for single-family residential development. But the general plan designation is employment. This property was included in the city-initiated SR 85 general plan amendment that changed the designation for properties that fronted 85 to employment, trying to get something in Buckeye similar to the 303 corridor, the Price Road corridor, to kind of really focus our light industrial uses. So the request this evening is fairly simple. It's to rezone from that obsolete planned residential zoning district to planned area development. This is, as far as I know, a first since we changed the code earlier this year. Planned area development used to be an overlay district. You would rezone to light industrial with a PAD overlay. We did change our code to allow for that to function as a standalone zoning district. So we don't need to do that overlay anymore. So we're just going to rezone to the planned area development. And as I'll mention, that PAD is very much based on the light industrial zoning district with the standards and permitted uses. This site is located at the northeast corner of SR 85 and Southern, as I mentioned, and just under 144 acres. The proposed planned area development will permit light industrial development on the site according to the I-1 district, our standard light industrial district. But there are a couple modifications via the PAD. I'll mention what those are. This is one potential configuration of what the site could develop. Certainly, this is completely conceptual. Could be larger buildings, could be smaller buildings, or a combination thereof. But with the types of uses that you would typically expect, and you've seen in Buckeye with either warehousing or light manufacturing, distribution types of uses would be what I would anticipate here. The standards are based also on the I-1 district. There is a carve out in the CMP, or in the PAD, excuse me, for the frontage along Southern Avenue, as you can see kind of in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that could accommodate a commercial corner here for either smaller office complex or even some retail, should there be market demand for that. That would serve in support of the employees in the area, as well as residents in the greater surrounding area. All of the setbacks, landscape requirements, all of those things are meeting or exceeding the city's standard requirements. There are architectural design criteria within the CMP. They will result in good-looking buildings, concrete tilt type of light industrial buildings, no metal, those types of things. Accentuated entries, really things that try to look like a high-quality business park from the perspective of surrounding streets. There's, of course, your normal buffering, screening requirements for any docks and other functions of the sites. The one modification that is requested in the CMP, I failed to mention on this slide, there is a request for additional signage as part of this particular development, given that it is adjacent to SR 85. They have requested a little bit more than what the code typically would allow for I-1 industrial development here. But other than that, it is very consistent and basically typical. So with that, Mayor, members of the council, Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this back in September 10th, and we recommend approval tonight of ordinance 22-24. I'm available for any questions. Applicant Jack Gilmore is available if you have any questions. Otherwise, he is happy to listen.
Ken, could you go a little bit more into detail about the signage? Is it just larger, more? Just
If there are 5 different buildings, each of the tenants could have a smaller sign. Those would be limited to 8 feet in height, not the 20-foot tall ones.
Okay. And you had mentioned that this could be retail or commercial. Is that planned at all to be similar to the 303 where you would see a large shopping and then industrial, or is it just not large enough and we kind of foresee more industrial?
Councilmember, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
So on the 303, and
Yeah.
again, it's probably getting a little bit out of it, but close, kind of, Scott. So we've got the, I can't remember the name of the product in Surprise, right there on the 303. It's got the product. And then you've got all the industrial south to it. Do we foresee something like that on the 85, or is it just not long enough?
Got you. In the past kind of planning exercises that we've done, I think we've always viewed the intersection of I-10 and SR 85 as that kind of commercial area, and then transitioning south into the more industrial types of uses. So this particular property, we would envision, primarily with light industrial. The types of commercial here would be, maybe a sandwich shop for their employees or dry cleaners, those types of things. I wouldn't anticipate any sort of regional style of commercial here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilman Hustis.
Yes, I have a question to do with the retail. Would the signage be under this that we approved tonight, would the signage be covered by this, or do they have to apply or come out and look for their own signage for that area that would be retail?
Mayor, Councilmember Hustis, this establishes the allowances for the signage for the entire 144-ish acre property. After this point in time, whether it develops all as light industrial or a portion develops as that retail, they will come in for a site plan and we'll work through the specifics at that time, but these will be the ground rules for those kind of specific discussions. Does that answer your question?
I think so. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple questions, just to clarify and make sure we're all on the same page and for the benefit of the public. Can you step back? I think you may have done this a little bit in the presentation, but maybe just a little bit to nail down what this was in the general plan, what it's been changed to in this entire corridor, and then what the landowner is looking to do here, just so the public understands exactly what's taken place?
Yeah. Mayor, the majority of this quarter, so back in end of 2021 is when staff started working on it, but it didn't start going through the public processes until the beginning of 2022. Staff initiated a major general plan amendment changing almost 2,500 acres in the vicinity of State Route 85, basically south of Baseline,
Can you
or south of.
put them, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but put the maps up while we're talking through. That might help also.
Yeah, we'll use this map. Directing your attention to the rightmost map. So, yeah, back really starting in full force in the beginning of 2022, we started with the public process related to changing the land use along on both the east and west sides of State Route 85, approximately 2,500 acres in total, excuse me, from what was mostly neighborhood, which is the yellow category here. That's a category that allows primarily for residential development. Could be single family or multifamily. Some supporting commercials allowed in neighborhood, but typically that's the designation you'd see your typical 7,000 lot, 7,000 square foot lot type of subdivisions. We changed, again, about 2,500 acres to the blue color, which is employment. Staff didn't change it, council changed it through an extensive public process. We had several workshops and meetings to discuss that, with the real intent that this would kind of become one of, if not the city's primary economic engines for light industrial type of development. Rather than trying to accommodate a pocket of light industrial here, a pocket there, where you have the Five Below and Funko warehouses in an area that's not necessarily or wasn't intended really for the light industrial types of uses. Try to avoid those types of scenarios and really try to focus the uses in a corridor where you don't see those kind of compatibility concerns. So council approved that amendment, I want to say back, I don't remember the month, but probably summer of 2022. Since that point, we have been working with the various owners within the area. Many of them have rezoned their properties in conjunction with that general plan amendment to light industrial. Some of them are going through the site planning process. So I actually would expect to see some development within that corridor in the area that we changed, probably starting in the next 6 months or so. This particular property owner, it's actually two separate property owners that own this land. They don't have a specific development plan identified yet. Whether they're going to develop it or wait for a build-to-suit type of opportunity, I can't say.
And are the current owners farmers?
Mayor, I'm going to defer that to Jack or George.
Are we going to have George speak at a public meeting here? We sure that's okay?
Mayor Osborne, members of the council. My name is George Quiniff. I'm with Peak Group, 5080 North 40th Street, Suite 205 in Phoenix. I represent Cardinal Capital Company, who is owner of approximately 83 acres along SR 85, and Albo Partnership, which is which owns about 60 acres. They are farmers. Their heritage was they've owned farms starting in Goodyear, starting in Glendale, Phoenix, for Cardinal Capital, Phoenix, then Glendale, then Goodyear, and now they own a substantial amount of land here in Buckeye. Albo Partnership is a family partnership. They are farmers from Iowa. This property was an investment property that they bought years ago. So they're not actually farmers. They have it leased to Bruce Hayden, or I believe is who's farming that. Cardinal Capital also owns 330 acres just on the other side of SR 35. But, so they've got the farming heritage. They're not actually farming.
Yeah. I wasn't, and I guess the point I'm trying to get to is just make sure that especially the public understands that it's not the city that owns that property, and it's either has been owned by a farm or farming family. It's currently owned by investors, and the investors are bringing it forward with the plan for development. It's not a force from the city to go from farming use to an industrial use.
No, Mayor Osborne, no. They were very supportive of the general plan amendment change that the city initiated. And the goal here is to, with the mass of 144 acres being zoned, to attract hopefully a large manufacturer type use. And that's what both owner interests, that's what they want to see here.
Okay, great.
All right,
Thank you very much, George.
thank you. Any other questions?
No, love you hearing saying large manufacturer out loud, too.
That's what we're after.
Thank you, us too. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions from, oh. Yes, sir. Councilman Hagestad.
So just on that signage, as I understand it, our current signage requirements would just be 148 square foot sign per parcel?
Per parcel or per 10 acres, whichever is less. So in this case, if it's 2 parcels, they would get one sign per parcel. As it currently is situated, it's 2 parcels, so they would get 2 of those signs.
To the 48?
Yes.
Okay, but they're substituting 184 and the 8, and then
The
8-footer per building?
They're basically keeping the same number allowances for the taller signs, but just increasing them from 20 feet and 48 square feet to 20 feet and, what did I say, 84? So yes, getting larger, but height stays the same number of those. And then they get to do the smaller 8-foot tall monument-style signs for the individual users within the development. The expectation is the taller sign would be used for like a multi-tenant type of development. If there was 4 different warehouses, each warehouse would get a panel on that. Each company that was operating a warehouse would get
Okay, so there's no, they have up to 2 large 84 square foot monument signs and up to however many buildings they have.
Can't
to get
say,
under
yeah, until we know how many buildings it would be, correct.
Okay, and presumably there was a purpose for our requirements for the signage that we had before. Does this not thwart what we had? I probably wasn't here when that was passed, but
Yeah.
does that not thwart what we're trying to do?
Yeah, Mayor, council member, our code is very conservative when it comes to signage, but does have a carve out for Planning and Zoning Commission to approve comprehensive sign plans, CSPs, to exceed the typical requirements. So most of the developments that you see, the bigger multi-tenant type of projects, they're commercial shopping centers, for instance, they get a comprehensive sign plan approved through Planning and Zoning Commission that basically allows these same type of things that council is approving. This is a step that basically would eliminate the need to go to Planning and Zoning Commission at a later date for that, for that sign package.
And staff is not concerned that if everybody along 85 did the same thing, it wouldn't
No, I don't think any.
harm our standards.
Nothing that they're proposing is outrageous or going to result in anything that looks out of character or out of place for the corridor.
For the vision that we have for that corridor.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, 20-foot tall sign next to a 40 or 50-foot tall building actually probably get dwarfed. I wouldn't be surprised to see, in the future, maybe they want to amend that to go taller. But yeah, as currently proposed, not out of character, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, council, item 5A, actually, hold on just a second. We need to have a public hearing. So we'll open a public hearing. Is there any speaker request cards?
There are no speaker requests.
Okay, anybody from the public wishing to speak on this item? I'm seeing none, so I will close the public hearing. And council, we have, we'll We'll need a motion. Looks like Councilman Eustis is making a motion, a second by Yonker. We'll verbalize that.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item 5A as an atom.
All right, we have a motion and a second for 5A. Let's log your votes now. All right, passes unanimous. Thank you very much. Go, go, go. Manufacturer, that's what I heard you say, George. Got it. Okay, item number 6, comments from mayor and council. Any comments tonight from council? I'm seeing none. We'll go on to item number 7, city manager's report and summary of current events.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 items this evening. First is get ready for Buckeye's Reduce the Commute Job Fair, returning October 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the West Met campus. Connect with over 40 employers and education partners offering thousands of job opportunities across various levels and schedules. For more details, visit buckeyeaz.gov/careers. And lastly, the Movie in the Park series continues this Saturday, October 5th at 6:30 p.m. at Festival Foothills Park. The featured film will be If. Food and drinks will also be available for purchase, and that concludes my report.
Great, thank you very much. Is that on all council's calendars? The not the Movie in the Park, but the Reduce the Commute Job Fair? Okay, great. Thank you. That's Council, if you do get an opportunity, I don't know if y'all have been to that, but that is such an outstanding event. Massive amount of employers that are looking people. They're interviewing folks on the spot and making hires. And the number of folks that we've had come to that previously is, I want to say topping 500, and I'm going to look out in the crowd to see if it's more than 500. Yeah. Fact checker Dave Roderick is giving me the thumbs up there. So make it out to that if you can. Item number 8, proposals for future agenda items. Any from council? I'm seeing none. Item number 9 is adjournment. With nothing else, we are adjourned.